Good morning, everyone. Before starting my speech, I'll give you some vocabulary. I'll mention the celebration called Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, the city of Sélestat. Also mention the character named Sinterklaas and Charles Dickens' book A Christmas Carol. And now I'll start my speech. Good morning, everyone. Here we are, already on the 20th of December. Oh, time flies! In less than a week, we'll be studying and complaining about the difficulties of certain lessons. But above all, we'll be celebrating Christmas. This family holiday, celebrated on the 25th of December, brings with it a whole host of more or less known tradition, the origins of which I'm going to tell you about. Let's start with the origins of the holiday. Its origins date back to antiquity, when the pagan celebration of Saturnalia was celebrated to pay homage to Saturn, the god of agriculture. In 2074 AD, the same celebration had a closing ceremony on the 25th of December, called Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, representing the birth of the Roman sun god. In 336, the date was chosen by analogy to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, since his date of birth was really never known. But it wasn't until the 19th century that the celebration as we know it really took off, before evolving even further under the influence of our American friends. Let's move on to the symbols of this celebration, starting with the Christmas tree. The symbols also dates back to antiquity and the custom of decorating tree branches for various occasions. The fir tree was chosen because it keeps its green color even in winter. The first Christmas tree dates back to 1521 in the town of Sélestat in Germany. But this symbol was only introduced to England in 1841 by the Queen's Victoria's German husband, who brought with his tradition with him. Today, the United Kingdom has received a Christmas tree from Norway every year since 1945 in gratitude for help it received during the Second World War. The Christmas tree is nothing without its bauble, which were originally apples. It wasn't until 1847 that a German glassmaker came up with the idea of replacing the apples with red glass baubles. And as far as fairy lights are concerned, as you can imagine, electricity played a major role in replacing the candles that used to decorate Christmas tree, thus preventing many accidents. Fire was so frequent that the American insurance industry requested a law in 1908 to ban candles because they caused too many fires. Now let's talk about the second symbol, Santa Claus. Does his appearance and name remind you of anyone? Well, he reminds me of a certain saint who passes through on the 6th of December. In fact, Santa Claus was inspired by Sinterklaas, even stealing his color. Traditionally dressed in green, his red color was first attributed to him by Thomas Nast in a newspaper in 1863. The character was largely popularized in the United States by Charles Dickens' book A Christmas Carol, but it was only after the Second World War that the character was democratized in Europe. Finally, let's talk about the last symbol, gifts. This tradition is not inspired by the offering of the Magi, but once again it comes from antiquity. The Romans gave each other lucky charms on the first day of the year to wish each other all the best for the new year. The tradition then evolved and lucky charms were transformed into food, objects, and clothing. In the 12th century, Sinterklaas began bringing sweets, apple, gingerbread, and later oranges to children. But it was not until the 1950s and industrialization that children began to be offered toys, and the emergence of big department stores in the 20th century accelerated the trend. In conclusion, Christmas and the various symbols associated with it have evolved over time to become the celebration we all love today. I'll end with a word of advice. If you're missing any information, take a look at my Christmas jumper. You could use it as your notes. Thank you.